This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, June 14th, 2006, and this is episode number 113 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hochberg from mgmstudios.org. On today's show is a man who uses his genius for evil, Len Lex Luthor Testa. Welcome, Len.
It's only occasionally evil. Most of the time I try and be neutral.
You're more of a flawed character, is what you're saying.
Exactly. If this was Shakespeare, I'd be the flawed main character. That's true.
Len Luthor.
Do I get a cape with that? Or... I get a layer, right? I get a layer.
No capes.
You get to shave your head.
I get a layer, though, right? Right.
Our own Clubber Lang lookalike is here, Mike Scopa of MousePlanet.com. Welcome, Mike.
This was heard at Narcoossee's last night. Straight. Oh.
He didn't even get there. What did he say?
Go ahead. Do it.
Oh, my God. Strike your colors, you brace. Strike your colors, you brazen witch.
All the rum.
No need to expose your structure.
That's
The unofficial motto of Narcoossee.
Somebody just drove off the road.
Oh my God.
Who put this pirate in here? Why is there a parrot on my table? Oh, hold on. It's part of the show later on, lady.
Oh my God.
Oh
my God.
This is great. That was great.
Welcome to the Laughing Floor, the new attraction at tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my God.
It's the four of us trading jokes about Narcoossee in Tomorrowland.
Well, if you have no idea what we're talking about, you have to go back to episode a couple episodes ago. Narcoossee's in the call.
110.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, Lord.
And there's someone else to introduce. And the man who splices in any recordings of anything possibly incriminating into our shows, Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome, Mike.
I guess this is the first minute of the show then.
Well, it's Wednesday, and that means we're answering your listener questions. So if you've got a listener question, email us at questions@wdwtoday.com. Our first email is from... Who is it from? Nick Gruber, who writes, I'm heading to Disney World this November with my family. We'll be spending Thanksgiving there, and this will be our first holiday at Walt Disney World. My wife and I have two children, a girl who will be 11 and a boy who will be 7, at the time of the trip. We would like to have a nice sit-down dinner that will appeal to both kids and adults. Can you offer any suggestions for restaurants for our Thanksgiving dinner? Thanks so much, and keep up the good work.
Is it just for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it sounds like it's for Thanksgiving dinner, a sit-down meal.
And it has to be nice.
Yeah.
Normally I know Scope is going to say Liberty Tree Tavern in Magic Kingdom.
Not now.
Yeah.
you just said it. But you're
well,
right.
It has to be nice. You know, in a decent restaurant for adults and kids with a decent wine list is Boma.
Are there any restaurants that change the menu just for Thanksgiving?
I think they are, Mike. I think that they will add turkey to the menu. I'm guessing that the buffets like Chef Mickey's, maybe Crystal Palace will have turkey at the carving station.
Okay.
I think that might take place all around the world. I guess when we're talking about a nice dinner, I guess that rules out the smoked turkey legs in Frontierland. I would say Len mentioned Liberty Tree Tavern. I would try Tony's in the Magic Kingdom. That's a spot that might be offering a nice turkey entree of some kind. After that, I would say it's. I would actually call down before going and ask if there are any special considerations for the restaurants during that Thursday, that some of the restaurants might be having a special entree.
I was just looking up some historically, and I had noticed that in past years they've offered special Thanksgiving Day menus. At one year, they had over 24 Disney World restaurants had changed their menu. For example, the Flying Fish Cafe at Boardwalk offered offered a oak grilled turkey with oyster stuffing, and the Yachtsman Steakhouse changed theirs. Most of them had big birds on the menu, except for like Citricos, which had roast duck with wild rice. So they do change their menus. Their offer, I think those usually come out within about a month of Thanksgiving. So you're looking at probably a little maybe Halloween time, investigating that.
Hey Matt, one quick thing for anybody listening who's going to be making reservations for Thanksgiving in Walt Disney World. You can do so now. Thanksgiving's within the 180-day booking window right now, which actually began May 27th. So you can actually make those reservations now.
Okay, great. I'll be sure to keep that in mind for anyone who is planning on going for Thanksgiving. Our next question is a comment. Comes from Sam, who writes, "Hi guys, I finally got around to commenting on Show 71, Better Late Than Never. Listener Sandra mentioned hearing the call tag, give us 22 minutes and we'll give you the world on her radio. As much as Matt thinks WDW Today is being ripped off, this tag has been around for a long time. It actually refers to the 30-minute window of a radio program minus the 8 minutes for either 2 4-minute commercial breaks or 4 2-minute commercial breaks. Since the tag is being used all over the country in various markets, I think it's perfectly fine that it's being used for your podcast. 22 minutes is a great show length. Keep up the great work. I still think we're getting ripped off, though."
Okay.
That's
fact notwithstanding. Oh well.
Our next comment is from Lori Lofgren, who writes, "Just wanted to let you know I really enjoyed the episode with Mean Christine." She put that in quotes. She sounds like a lot of fun, and if it wasn't for the fact that I prefer to hang out with my husband and not really with people I don't know, I think it might be fun to meet up with her at Walt Disney World, unless, of course, she was giving me wrong directions. I've heard the show that she was
knocking you down for your ice cream, the usual stuff.
I heard the show that she was on before and was glad to see she had returned for another episode. I appreciate the moments of escape you provide me at work every day while I listen to your show. So thank you.
Yeah, we're going to have her on again.
Ralph Pittman Jr. writes, and remember, if you guys remember, a while back, someone asked about Small World merchandise, and Ralph Pittman wrote that there's a kiosk at the exit of Small World, and they have a large assortment. So, if you're still
kiosk like a cart. Huh, how about that?
Dave LaCroix of New Hampshire writes, "I'm going to Walt Disney World and would like to know what is your best opinions and best approach to park hopping. I vacationed at Disney World 15 or so times and park hop to match my mood, but I'd like to hear your approach. I'm staying at Wilderness Lodge, and I'm visiting Disney to watch my daughter march down Main Street with her high school band. Is there one?"
So a park hopping tip?
Yeah, I mean, what's a good, I guess, starting point, perhaps? A rule of thumb, if you will?
You could start, obviously, with the park that has the morning extra magic hour. I would never hop to the park that has that morning extra magic hour. But, starting in the Magic Kingdom or Epcot and then going somewhere else is usually actually a good idea. Actually, starting in the Magic Kingdom is... Starting anywhere but Epcot and ending up at Epcot is a good idea.
Why?
Well, a couple of reasons. Number one is, no matter what gets crowded, Epcot can handle those crowds better than any of the other parks. Two, Epcot's got more dining options than any of the other parks. So if you're hopping to Epcot, the impact of crowds already being there ahead of you is going to be lessened, and you'll have more places to eat dinner. I really like the idea of starting early in the Magic Kingdom, though, because that's really when you're going to get the most attractions out of the way.
Can tell me what you think about this, Len. Assuming it's a non-extra magic hour day for the Animal Kingdom, often park hopping to Animal Kingdom in the afternoon is usually a good bet because most people are done with the park by about mid-afternoon.
Yeah, the issue with that is, let's say you start at the, I'm just guessing here, Magic Kingdom, you hop over to the Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom closes at 5 or 6 o'clock. What are you going to do? Go to bed?
Well, I guess it depends on the time of year. If you go during summer, then you'll still have...
Yeah, that's true. Summer it's open till 8.
Right.
And then maybe with that evening extra magic hour... Well, we said extra magic hour is not in effect. Yeah, it depends. What you want to avoid is a scenario where you have to leave the park at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. because then you're going somewhere else, and you will have spent more time in transportation than you would have had you just stood in line and road rides at whatever park you would have stayed in your number 2 park. So I don't like to waste that much time in transportation. Hopping to 3 parks in a day is probably too much time spent driving around Walt Disney World. Not enough time on rides. Now, if it's open, if you're a Disney Resort guest and it's open till like 6, you can stay there till 9. Yeah, I could see that maybe then. You really, I don't know what you're gonna do there for. God, I sound like one of you guys. I don't know what you're gonna do there for 6 hours, but whatever. I didn't mean it to sound that way.
Our next question comes from Krista of Paducah, Kentucky, who writes, "We are planning a trip to Walt Disney World during the beginning of September. I was wondering if mosquitoes are a big problem during this time."
Boy, I can remember about 10 years ago that was a big concern.
Yeah, because was that
late
West
August
Nile?
and September. Yeah.
And they had some sort of weird Florida encephalitis thing going on. And
Yeah, that was, I can remember, early to mid-90s. But since then, I haven't heard anyone complain.
I think they do a pretty decent job with. I think you have to worry about hurricanes more than you have to do about mosquitoes.
Yeah, only when I'm down there. But
Yeah, that's true. Only when Scope is there.
They seem to do a lot of good spraying or whatever. In about 10 years, you may have a third eye because of it, but it's I haven't heard any.
And that was Mike Scopa. For you lawyers listening, that was Mike Scopa. SCOPA. Who said that? Go ahead.
No, they must have come up with some some very good way of dealing with it, because I haven't heard anyone complain since the early 90s about mosquitoes at that time of year. Plus, this year there's not that much rainfall going on down there, so I wouldn't worry this year.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
Our next question comes from somebody. They didn't put their name in here. But that person happened to write, they're going down to Disney World for the first time with children ages 3 and 5, as well as 11 other family members.
Wow.
Their question is, we're not really sure what we want to do on our arrival day. I expect we'll be there around noontime. We do have the park hopper option, and I've always been a get to the park early sort of person, so I was leaning towards staying out of the parks. But knowing how I am at Disney, I am not sure if I can just hang around the pool on our first day. What would you suggest?
Wow, midday. They're arriving midday?
Well, actually, this is such a common scenario. We actually have a touring plan for this on the website. I
was just thinking, as I was reading this email, Len, I was thinking about that. I think your touring plan, I'll put a link in the show notes to it. It's touringplans.com for it, and that might be an option there.
You get 2 different versions, one for parents with small children and then one for adults. But, if you guys don't want to use the website, you can always just head to Epcot, again, for the whole dinner thing that we just talked about.
Yeah. It can absorb the crowds at midday better than any other park.
Yeah, definitely. That's the park that you would go to if you got there at noon.
Justin from Yorktown, Indiana writes, I was wondering what songs they play on Rock and Roller Coaster.
Van Halen.
You're right.
Dude, they're going to get back together, I'm telling you.
Well, Justin,
customized. Isn't it a customized song written by Aerosmith?
No, it's Love in an Elevator, Walk This Way.
Yeah, I've got the whole list.
If only somebody knew something about the studios here on this.
The reason why I didn't know the song, Len, was because the last time I rode Rock and Roller Coaster, you were next to me, and all I heard was, so that's why I don't know the songs.
Oh, dude, that like a dagger through my heart.
Well, there's a whole list of songs, and I'll put a link in the show notes to them. Len mentioned some, but there are Dude Looks Like a Lady, Walk This Way, Love in an Elevator, which of course has been changed to Love in a Roller Coaster, Sweet Emotion, all sorts of songs. The whole list I'll have in the show notes, so you can check over there.
Thank
Justin.
You. That's a good dinner party conversation. Like, once they get rid of Aerosmith, or if they ever get rid of Aerosmith, who are they going to pick to replace him?
Yeah, that's been a
Bon Jovi.
That would be my guess, and
ABBA.
I would love that.
It's not going to be Three Doors Down.
How about Hannah Montana?
Hannah Montana, exactly. Yeah.
I got a question here from Mike Scopa. William Van Graal writes, "Hey guys, great podcast. I was listening to the show number 73 and overheard someone say that they were going over the marathon weekend. I'm looking to run in the marathon next January, and I'm trying to figure out when I should go down. I would like to have some sort of vacation around the event. Right now I'm thinking of traveling Saturday to Friday, with the marathon being on Sunday. Do you have any advice for traveling that weekend? Do you think I should go down earlier, or does that sound practical to you?"
Well,
Len
go ahead.
Len, I think we both should chime in on this. Why don't you go first?
I'm thinking you want to get there like Thursday. Well, I get there Thursday afternoon or Friday morning because you got to register. you got to pick up your race packet, right? And so Friday's the 5th. If you're running the marathon, that's Sunday the 7th. By the way, I'm running the marathon too. So I'm probably going to get there Friday morning. I would say stay later. You're not gonna feel great afterwards. I mean, you'll feel fine, but you're not going to want to go back to work that Monday. So I would say hang out in Walt Disney World.
Yeah, you don't want to get there too early, because if you get there too early and you get caught up in park touring,
Yeah, exactly.
you're gonna be
Touring,
walking
that's what I
around,
did
you're gonna
last
wear
year.
yourself. So getting there on a Thursday, like Len said, is a great idea, because number one, depending upon where you're coming from, where's he coming from, Matt?
He does not write where he's from.
Okay, well, let's say he's from someplace where it's a little bit colder than it is in Orlando in January, although last January
I don't know. Last year's pretty cold.
I know.
He's from Nome.
Exactly. You have to. Your body has to get acclimated a little bit to the conditions. You need about 24 to 36 hours for that. You don't want to get there too soon, because you don't want to wear yourself out, and you don't want to go crazy. Going around the parks and everything. I think Len's point about maybe going late and staying a few days after the marathon is a great point, because you won't want to go back to work on Monday. You need a day to recover. And you don't want to run at least 5 or 6 days after you do the marathon. You just need your body to relax. So I think maybe going on a Thursday is probably the best advice we could give him.
Great. We got time for one question here, and it's from Bernie Pendergrass of Monett, Missouri, who writes, I need suggestions for a place to dine at World Showcase for our trip. Not Japan or Mexico. We have done those to death. I'm a single parent with a 5-year-old son who will eat anything and an 11-year-old daughter who is a very picky eater. I need some place to entertain the 5-year-old to give me a break, and chicken strips and fries for the 11-year-old. My first thought would be beer garden. Whatever the suggestion, how busy are they, and do I really need reservations, rather?
Yep. I like the idea of beer garden.
Yeah.
Because there is entertainment there. I mean, really, nothing says fine dining like an Oompa band. So
I would do beer garden. I mean, every restaurant, Len, has the child's menu, right? That has the
it's the beige food, the chicken strips, the macaroni and cheese, the pasta in butter. Every restaurant will have some variation of that. Did I say grilled cheese? Yeah. So if it's a grilled cheese quesadilla, it's bread, some sort of bread, and some sort of cheese.
Oh, could entertainment also be character meal? Can we say that can be entertainment or no?
I mean, the only character meal at World Showcase is the princess meal.
Oh, we just talked about World Showcase. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with that? There's Belle's there, right?
Yep. Belle, okay. Bell's there. Belle. Did you mention Belle? Hey, there's Belle.
Morocco may not. Well, I don't know.
I think for entertainment value, I like beer garden. I think Len and I like it a lot, and I think it's worth trying.
Yeah, I think beer garden. I mean, hugely. They already said Japan. They couldn't do it. Not to do Japan. Okay. I mean, beer garden did really well in our unofficial guide reader surveys. I don't think we got a bad comment on it. So
decent price too, really.
Yeah, you really can't beat it.
Bernie also writes that the name of Pop Century is changed forever to Scopa Towers.
Oh.
Yeah, we gotta get that memo out to them, to the people who are making
we need to raise
the reservations.
Money, because sooner or later they're gonna come after.
Well, that's it for today. This has been episode number 113 of Walt Disney World Today. If you want to find older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at www.wdwtoday.com. You can also email us at questions@wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hotchberg. We'll see you on the next show.